Welcome to Counter-Hegemony. My name is Aaron Taus. You might have heard of the BRICS. The acronym refers to a geopolitical and economic alliance between Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Formed in 2010, the group encompasses more than a quarter of the world's land surface, over 40% of the global population, around 30% of global GDP, about 20% of international trade, and 50% of the world's foreign exchange reserves. In August 2023, the BRICS announced that Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates would become full members in 2024. Around 20 other countries have shown interest in joining the bloc. Many commentators view the BRICS as a geopolitical rival to the G7 bloc of leading industrial countries and as a potential threat to the unipolar US world order and the current international financial and monetary architecture. Others see the BRICS as a promising integration mechanism to enhance development, peace, and multilateralism. Does the growth of the BRICS countries pose a challenge to US imperialism, or is it primarily a boost to global capitalism? Does a multipolar global order provide opportunities for emancipatory visions and alternative models? Let's critically examine the excitement surrounding the BRICS. Over the past few years, the BRICS countries have increased their economic influence globally. China and the other four members play an ever greater role in the expansion of capitalism. The agenda of the BRICS countries is focused on market integration, capital accumulation, regional hegemony, as well as the advancement of their national economies. Corporations of the BRICS nations are heavily invested in extractive and ecologically destructive mining projects in Africa, Latin America, and Asia. To some extent, the growth of the BRICS poses, however, a challenge to US imperialism and the US dollar as the international reserve currency. In 2014, the BRICS countries founded the New Development Bank as an alternative to international financial institutions controlled by the United States, such as the World Bank and the IMF. The goal is to break away from the dependence on the US dollar and to establish a unified currency. As a first concrete step, a minimum of 30% of loans will be given out in local currencies by 2026. The BRICS countries are progressively using their own currencies in trade with one another. The Chinese yuan and the Russian ruble make up over 50% of trade between the two countries. The BRICS' new institutional framework aims to expand the country's maneuvering space in the context of US imperial domination. Yet in order to access more than 30% of their funds, BRICS members must sign swap agreements with the IMF that are denominated in US dollars. At this point, a few questions come to mind. Will the United States, as the primary force behind the expansion of capitalism on a global scale, successfully incorporate the BRICS nations into its imperial system? And if so, will it happen peacefully or through military action? Or will the BRICS countries, spearheaded by China, increasingly assume global leadership and establish a new form of imperial rule? Or will the rise of the BRICS lead to a more peaceful world order centered on cooperation and solidarity rather than militarism and domination? Let me know what you think by leaving a comment below. That does it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.